Former President Donald Trump has pled not guilty on 37 counts in a federal courtroom in Miami.
He was accused of putting national security at risk by mishandling classified documents.
Charging a former president of the United States under the Espionage Act for possessing my own presidential papers, which just about every other president has done.
Going back to basics, as we know, Trump held office from January 2017 to January 2021. During that time, he had access as the president to some of the most sensitive classified documents and national defence information that the US government owns. And when he left the White House and Biden took over, he basically walked out with a whole bunch of material, information about, the weapons capabilities of the US. He walked out with potential military vulnerabilities. He had intelligence that should have only been shared with members of the so-called Five Eyes allies, which basically includes Australia, New Zealand, the UK and Canada. And the reason these documents are so important is because the unauthorised disclosure of them could put the national security of the US and its allies pretty much at risk.
Many people have asked me why I had these boxes. Why did you want them?
Trump basically had these boxes of documents everywhere. According to prosecutors, some of them were stashed in a ballroom, some of them were stashed in a bathroom and a shower, an office space, his bedroom, a storage room. I mean, that's pretty careless in terms of the classified material.
These boxes were containing all types of personal belongings, many things, shirts and shoes and everything. I hadn't had a chance to go through all the boxes. It's a long, tedious job. It takes a long time.
In March 2022, that's when the FBI opened a criminal investigation into the supposed unlawful retention of classified documents. A federal grand jury investigation then began the next month, and that grand jury essentially issued a subpoena basically saying, Trump, give us back the documents with all the classified markings. Instead of doing that, though, he tried to obstruct the FBI and the grand jury.
Most instances where there is classified information that's mishandled happens all the time. As soon as the individual or individuals identify it, they turn it over. That's why you've never heard of most of the cases that are investigated for mishandling. They don't get charged. But when you have obstruction, when you have concealment, when you have, in some instances, 18 months where this material was not turned over, that's distinguishing. And I think that's the reason you're seeing charges today.
Federal criminal court is not a place defendants want to be. Your odds of being convicted are over 90%, well over 90%, and they have been for many years.
I suspect he'll be able to delay the process, but let's just say he can't. There's nothing stopping him from campaigning from prison, although I must say he'd be very hamstrung. His trademark rallies would have to kind of, go. But it's not unprecedented. There was a bloke by the name of Eugene Debs. He campaigned in jail. He didn't get the presidency, but he certainly did campaign. So there's a precedent for it. But the big question would be, let's just say, if he's in jail and then he gets elected president, what happens? That's essentially a constitutional crisis and would probably require him to be pardoned. So there's a lot of hypotheticals, but it's fair to say we're in pretty uncharted territory.